Nancy Pelosi said that she wanted to punch Donald Trump, which sounds very insurrectionary to me. Wonder if the Secret Service is going to investigate her or if the Republicans will form their own select committee to see if her hand wagging is illegal. But Nancy Pelosi said something very interesting in newly released footage. Not only did it evidently appear that she had a bunch of people recording her throughout the entire January 6th event, she also seems to be almost auditioning for a role, sort of faking this appearance of leadership, responding to what they allege is a catastrophic crisis that was making democracy flounder. We're going to go through this clip in some detail, but let's take a look at a concept called chewing the scenery. Nancy Pelosi is going to be thrown out of the House of Representatives very soon and unemployed. And we know that that means that oftentimes Democrats go and they get new gigs, right? We had the Obamas. They went over to Spotify or something and produced garbage content over there. We know that the Royals have produced garbage podcasts and, also Hillary's doing something with her daughter. Nobody's watching, but they all are really interested in media. Nancy Pelosi made her big debut in this newly released footage. And I want to share with you this concept from film. It's called chewing the scenery. Right? This is when somebody is acting with emphasis. Nearly any emotion will do as long as it's extreme. This is a common term for a scene in a movie where an actor's acting is so damn hard, they say, that they're picking bits of the scenery out of their mouth and out of their teeth for days. Some scenes are so crazy that it's just actors who are overacting. You've probably heard that phrase, overacting. Or being a melodramatic individual. A type of film or theater that focus on heightened emotions and says that the tone is repetitive and the building of motion and so on and so forth. Now let's take a look at what's actually happening in the video from Nancy Pelosi, because I think that is exactly the story. This is Nancy Pelosi and a full video from behind the scenes from her family members who were filming her as she was walking through the Capitol building on January 6th.
We have got to get...
So as you can see, it's 2:23, and we already have literally a film person who is standing in front of her, walking backwards like a film crew on January 6th, cataloging all of this, which seems like very well thought out optics to have in the middle of a crisis.
Finish the proceedings, or else it will have the complete victory.
There has to be some way we can maintain the sense that people have that there's some security or some confidence that...
I don't know what she's talking about. She's got a mask on. So obviously that means that she's safe and we're all safe. So I have confidence because she's got a mask on.
Government can function and that we can elect the President of the United States. Did we go back into session?
We did go back into session, but now apparently everybody on the floor is putting on tear gas masks to prepare for a breach.
They're putting on gas masks to prepare for a breach. Is this a Hollywood script? What are they talking about?
Well, I'm trying to get more information.
They're putting on their...
Tear gas masks.
Tear gas. Do you believe this? Did you hear that? They said that they're going to be using tear gas to invade the Capitol building. And I'm the speaker. Tear gas and gas masks.
I can't. I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD. We have some senators.
Did you see how mad Chuck Schumer was? He said the effing word.
I can't. I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD.
I'm going to call up the effing Secretary of DOD. He said that. That's a sitting senator who said that to Nancy Pelosi. And if you look at her face, she is laughing at this. These two are reading scripts to each other about this story. I'm going to call the effing DOD. Listen.
We have some senators who are still in their hideaways.
We have some senators that are still in their hideaways. They know that this is being recorded. They know this is going public. They know that they're going to shove this in front of every American through the January 6th select committees. They've been waiting for this opportunity. They've got camera crew. They've got effing Chuck Schumer, who is saying that they are now in their bunkers hiding away.
We need massive personnel now. Can you get the Maryland National Guard to come too?
I
Get
have
Maryland.
something to say, Mr.
Get Maryland, get Arizona, get California, send in Arkansas. We need North Dakota. We're all under siege here.
Secretary. Well, I'm going to call the mayor of Washington, D.C. right now and see what other outreach she has to other police departments.
Mayor Muriel Bowser, she declined to bring in the National Guard when Donald Trump made the request a long time ago.
As Senator Leader Hoyer has mentioned. Hi, Governor. This is Nancy. Governor, I don't know if you have been approached about the Virginia National Guard. Mr. Hoyer was speaking to Governor Hogan, but I still think you probably need the okay of the federal government in order to come into another jurisdiction.
She doesn't know, no idea.
Thank you.
Secretary of the Army.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my
They're just
gosh, they're breaking windows.
They're doing all kinds of, it's really that they said somebody was shot. It's
Yeah,
just-
Ashley Babbitt.
it's just
Yeah, you guys shot her.
horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United States.
Oh, there it is. Whose fault is all of this? All at the instigation of the President of the United States. Isn't that amazing? Wow. She's already come to that conclusion because she set it up.
All kinds of, it's really that they said somebody was shot. It's just horrendous, and all at the instigation of the President of the United
All
States.
Trump's fault.
Okay, thank you, Governor.
Thanks,
I appreciate
Governor.
what you're doing, and if you don't mind, I'd like to stay in touch. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Virginia Guard has been called in.
You know, I'm just talking to Governor Northam, and what he said is...
What'd he say?
They sent
Solve it for us.
200 state police and a unit
Yeah.
of the National Guard.
Great. Could have had that happen before Donald Trump sent a letter to Mayor Muriel Bowser. Muriel Bowser said, we don't need them at all. We're good. Don't send them, in fact. Now Nancy Pelosi's saying, oh, maybe that was a good idea. And it's really too bad that they're breaking the windows at the Capitol, all at the instigation of the president. All of it.
They're breaking windows and going in, obviously ransacking our
Ransacking
offices.
our
and all the
offices,
rest of
putting their
that.
feet on our
That's
desks.
nothing. The concern we have about personal harm,
Safety.
personal safety is it just transcends everything. But the fact is, on any given day, they're breaking the law in many different ways. And quite frankly, much of it at the instigation
Oh,
of the
there it is
President
again.
of the United States.
There it is again. So it's like, Nancy, hey, see how many times you can insert this line into your little script. All at the instigation of the president. That guy, instigation. He instigated this and instigated that. Around and around we go. She has to make sure it's included.
And now, if he could at least somebody.
Yeah, why don't you get the president to tell them to leave the Capitol, Mr.
Yeah, Attorney General.
In your law enforcement responsibility. A public
Hey, Mr. Attorney General, you're a law enforcement personnel. Why don't you go tell the president what he should do? Tell him that Chuck Schumer ordered the president to do something.
statement they should all leave. This cannot be just we're waiting for so-and-so. We need them there now, whoever you got. Okay.
You also have troops, this is Steny Hoyer, troops.
Okay, so we have a little
Fort
bit of time
McNair,
to make that decision.
Andrews Air Force Base,
All right,
other military bases.
Thank you.
We
Thanks,
need
Paul. Bye.
active duty National Guard.
How soon?
Look at this group of clowns. Oh my goodness. This is what our government looks like, folks. This is how they solve problems. A bunch of idiots standing around a circle over a cell phone with their idiot masks on. We need National Guard. I'm on the phone with Governor Northam. They're a bunch of children. Honestly, it's a bunch of children. Let's continue.
In the future, can you have the place evacuated, cleaned out?
I don't want to speak for the leadership that's going to be responsible for executing the operation, so I'm not going to say that because they're on the ground and they're the actual.
Well, just pretend for
Here's Nancy now. None of them can do really anything other than bark stupid talking points into a mouthpiece. But she says, let's just pretend at the moment that this was now an invasion of the Capitol building, or this is some sort of insane attack on, I don't know, anything else.
moment it was the Pentagon or the White House or some other entity that was under siege. And let me say, you can logistically get people there as you make the plan.
Talked to Mitch about it earlier.
Oh, yeah,
He's
talking
not
with
in
the
room
Senate.
right now, but he was with us earlier. and said, we want to expedite this, and hopefully they could confine it to just one complaint, Arizona. And
hopefully they can confine it to one complaint from Arizona. Why? Do you remember what was happening right before January 6th happened? Do you recall? I do, because we were talking about it. We were going to stream that night and did stream that night after it all happened. But I was following it the moments up until the actual breach. And they were about to start objecting, and they were going to start demanding, Ted Cruz was, that we were going to start to form a committee and start investigating certain issues. But then what happens? Oh, yeah, the gates break, the dam bursts, and all this happens. And now what's the next step? No investigations into anything. Instead, the only thing that they want to do is just stop the complaints from happening. Only bring in one complaint from Arizona. Ignore the rest of them. Let's squeeze this thing through as quickly as possible because we're in an emergency now. Everything changed. Ted Cruz didn't get his piece because he had to leave the building very conveniently.
then we could vote, and that would be, then just move forward with the rest of the state. We've gotten a very bad report about the condition of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing.
Defecation.
As well. I don't think that's...
That's not from the rioters. That's not from the protesters or the J6ers. That's from Jerry Nadler. He waddles around Congress with a 35-pound diaper. It stinks up the whole place. Nobody wants to change him. And Nancy Pelosi, it's your responsibility. That's your problem, not ours.
Hard to clean up, but I do think it is more from a security standpoint of making sure that everybody is out of the building, and how long will that take? I just got off with the Vice President.
And I got off with the Vice President-elect.
So she talks to Pence. He talks to Harris. They're sitting around with a box of Triscuits and water bottles. They're like, my blood sugar's getting low. I got to eat something.
Okay. But what we left the conversation with, because he said he had the impression from Mitch that Mitch wants to get everybody back to do it there.
Yes.
I said, well, we're getting a counterpoint that is, we could take time to clean up the poo-poo that they're making all over the, literally and figuratively in the Capitol, and that it may take days to get back.
And I'm at the Capitol building. I'm literally standing with the chief of police of the U.S. Capitol Police. He just informed me what you will hear through official channels. Paul Irving, your sergeant at arms, will inform you that their best information is that they believe that the House and the Senate will be able to reconvene in roughly an hour.
Good news.
Yeah, an hour. Wow, that's it? Holy moly. I thought Nancy Pelosi, I thought they were bringing in National Guard from all over the place. In order to deal with this, they're going to be back in an hour. It really was. It was like almost nothing. They got him out of there. They came right back in. I was even surprised how quickly they got back in there, because I was thinking, man, I mean, if this was a real terrorist attack or something, wouldn't you have to sweep everything for bombs and chemicals and anthrax or stuff like this? If they really were concerned about it? No, they kicked everybody out. They brought all of the senators and representatives back in, and they ran through the process. For what was the worst attack on American democracy that has happened in our modern era, they really resolved it pretty quickly. It was done by the end of the night. Couple hours. That's it. But we've been listening to this for the last 2 years now. It's coming up on. Good news. We're going back there and we're going to just do our job. And when they went back and did their job, guess what? All the debates were over, weren't they? They just ran through those electoral cards like flashcards, like just, making it rain out there. Vote, 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 vote. Hey, it's President Biden again. Amazing.
Sergeant Arms will be in touch about the process for getting members back in the building.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. Good news.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. The whole thing, a gigantic joke. Now, there was a phone call between Pelosi and Mike Pence. I think we listened to this. I think it was in that clip.
Hi, Mr. Vice President?
No, we didn't listen to this one. Nancy Pelosi called Mike Pence after the January 6th protest took place. And here she is playing the little role that she was supposed to play to really sell this whole saga.
Hi, Mr. Vice President?
Hi, yeah, we're okay. We're here with Mr. Schumer, Mr. McConnell, the leadership, House and Senate. And how are you? Oh my goodness, where are you?
Oh no.
God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you.
But are you not very safe? Well, that we're still not safe enough for us to go back. We're being told it could take days to clear the Capitol.
Days?
And
Days? What? They were back that evening. And who has this cell phone shoved in her face?
that we should be moving everyone here to get the job done. We're at which has facilities for the House and the Senate to meet. We'd rather go to the Capitol and do it there, but it doesn't seem to be safe. We've gotten a very bad report about the conditions of the House floor with defecation and all that kind of thing.
Defecation. She's really concerned about the poop. Does she realize that she lives in the state of California? She represents California. There's crap all over the place there. The whole city's full of crap. The whole state. Shout out to our California viewers. What are you doing there?
Okay, and that calls back. Okay, I worry about you being
Hey,
in
don't
that
talk with your
Capitol
mouth
room.
full.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you
Don't
disgusting.
let anybody know.
Have
where
some
you are.
manners. Have some manners, Nancy. That's disgusting. Close your mouth. Dinner table manners. You don't chew with your mouth open on the phone. What kind of a monster is she? Gross. Now, a very interesting clip came out from her that is really making the rounds. Nancy Pelosi threatened to punch Donald Trump in the face. And she's also somebody who waited patiently for a situation like this to happen. The trespass of the Capitol provided a very great opportunity for her to remove her political arch nemesis.
And that's what this is all about.
Secret Service said they have dissuaded him from coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my
Whoa,
moment.
Nancy.
I've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
Punch out the president. She's going to punch Donald Trump in the face. So I'm looking forward to the select committee that's going to investigate a threat of insurrection against the sitting president and the Secret Service investigation. Hopefully they raid her home and wake Paul up from one of his benders. But I don't know if that's going to happen because they don't care about any threats against the president. But there was another clip that came out here that was a little bit more intriguing than the fact that she wants to punch the president. Let's listen to this one more time.
He's coming to Capitol Hill. They told him they don't have the resources to protect him here. So at the moment he is not coming, but that could change.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my
I
moment.
would pay to see
I've
that.
been
Here it
waiting
is.
for this.
Here it is.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my moment.
I would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this.
I've been waiting for this. I've been waiting for this, she says. For what? To punch the president? Are the next words out of her mouth? I've been waiting for this. To punch the president? No, that's not what she says. Listen.
I've been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
I've been waiting for
I've
this.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
I've been waiting for this to happen on Capitol grounds. Criminal trespass on Capitol grounds. Today's Christmas Day for Nancy Pelosi. Very excited about the tremendous gift that has landed on her desk.
Oh, he comes, I'm going to punch him out. This is my
I
moment.
would pay to see
I've
that.
been waiting for this, for trespassing on the Capitol grounds. I'm going to punch him out and I'm going to go to jail and I'm going to be happy.
She was waiting for this. She wanted it to happen. She's responsible for the security at the Capitol building. The House and the Senate Sergeant at Arms also both responsible for this. We have FBI. We have all sorts of Homeland Security agencies. There's like 45 or 50 different police departments in Washington. You've got the Mint Police. You've got the Museum Police. You've got police all over the place. And on the most important day in America, they couldn't secure the building where every senator and every House representative was, including the vice president. They couldn't secure the building. When Trump had announced for days that there was going to be a rally on January 6th, they couldn't figure it out. No, of course they could. They were planning for it. Nancy Pelosi says so. I've been waiting for this criminal trespass. I know that we can get him on this thing. And guess what they did? Nancy Pelosi's grandson was also watching this from on high. The ruling class, they like to look down upon the peasants. They don't ever want to be on the same level as them. And so Pelosi's grandson, for whatever reason, was there on January 6th. And we can listen to him as he watches the little people protesting their government.
Okay, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go get him, Mimi.
Nice family crew. Okay, another camera angle. Cameras all over the place.
Those are the boxes. Electoral votes.
Oh my God, how did that guy get up there?
Oh, who is that?
What if they try and run the Capitol?
What if they try to run the Capitol? We're all going to die, says the young grandson. In this giant production, Nancy Pelosi brings her grandkids, who are going to be conveniently filming her while the whole saga unfolds. Now, many ask why the intelligence agencies were not able to secure the Capitol building. If you believe that they wanted to secure the building, then you might say maybe they really screwed something up. If you say that maybe they don't really have much interest in securing the Capitol building because they would love to see Trump fall off the roof, then maybe they allowed it to happen. Or maybe the intelligence agencies were distracted by their lack of intelligence on other issues. This is one of the so-called intelligence experts who signed the Hunter Biden letter saying that there was no evidence of any nefarious activity from him and that any rumors to the contrary were nothing but Russian propaganda. We have Fox News blasts him out of the water and says, it sort of feels like you're just a liar.
In October, days before the 2020 election, you signed on to this open letter that was published by Politico. It said, "We write to say that the arrival on the U.S. political scene of emails purportedly belonging to Vice President Biden's son Hunter, much of it related to his time serving on the board of the Ukrainian gas company Burisma, has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation."
Right.
Why did you sign on to that?
Yeah, because of what it says. It has all the classic earmarks of one of these operations.
Oh.
You'll note elsewhere in the letter, if you read it, that it also says we don't know if this is a Russian operation at all. That has been dramatically changed in the retelling of the story. But the letter is merely pointing out that this is the kind of thing that time after time after time, people who study Russian disinformation, intelligence officers who look at Russian tactics over the long period of time, this is the kind of thing they like to amplify to sow discord within target countries. Now, sometimes that target country is the United States.
Right.
Most often in the Cold War, it was Europe. But the fact is, the tactic is an old one, a tried and true one, and it's been successful in the past.
But in this case, it was not true. It was not true. In fact, the New York Times found that these are authenticated.
Where's your intelligence at on that one?
Thousands of emails purportedly from the laptop computer of Hunter Biden are authentic communications that can be verified through cryptographic signatures from Google and other technology companies, say two security experts who examined the data. New York Post, who did the story first, says, holy cow, here are these other verifications. And then in the debate, right before the election, now President Biden used it. Take a listen.
Reckless, absolutely reckless. Putin heard this. Our allies and friends heard this. This is truly.
We're talking about the issue
from hell.
President Trump, we're talking about race right now, and I do want to stay on the issue of race. President Trump,
I have to respond to that.
Please,
because look,
very quickly.
There are 50 former national intelligence folks who said that what he's accusing me of is a Russian plant.
You mean the laptop is now another Russia hoax?
And that's exactly what.
Is this
that's
where you're
exactly
going?
what.
This is
told.
where he's.
So understanding how you characterize it, but he characterized it differently and used it in a debate just days before an election.
Yeah, I'll let President Biden speak for himself.
Of course
He's capable of doing that. What I'll do is say that it has all the classic earmarks of a Russian campaign in the way it was disseminated and propagated through media.
Do you regret signing on to the letter?
Oh, absolutely not, because those words are still true.
Do you think
it has all the classic
outcome
earmarks?
Of an election?
Oh, absolutely not. No,
Even though it wasn't true. It had the classic earmarks, but it wasn't true.
What is not true?
That it was Russian disinformation?
That's not what we said in the letter. Read the actual letter, and we said we do not know if this is Russian disinformation.
It has
right?
all the classic earmarks of a Russian information operation.
Exactly. The difference between an information campaign and a disinformation campaign and a misinformation campaign, it's not my fault if people don't look up definitions.
I know, but
it's not his fault that you're too stupid to know what he intended. He used big words and he wrote a whole letter, and if you didn't read that, that's your own damn fault, idiots. And he is very careful with his words. He is saying it sort of looks like Russian misinformation and it might be Russian misinformation, and he's going all the way up to the line until he says it's actual, legitimate, confirmed Russian misinformation, so that he has this little escape hatch so that he can go on with Brett Baer and waddle this line. He knows exactly what he did. The whole point of this letter was to drop it in October to support their claim that none of this was legitimate. Remember, Trump was beating Hillary up over all the... I'm sorry, this was in 2020. Yes, this is when they buried the whole thing.
The purpose of the letter is to have an effect. And the nuance that you're talking about here never made it to candidate Biden, because he said it plainly on a debate stage that obviously affected the dynamic. Man, don't you think?
I would absolutely love for all news media to show nuance on all these issues instead of racing to sound bites. In this case, some news media race.
And now it's not only are you stupid, America, it's also Brett Baer and Fox News. They're stupid too. They didn't understand the nuance of his letter.
To sound bites, that's not helpful for the American people. And I
You
really
think
wish
your
that
letter
people
was helpful for the American people.
Well, instead of quoting one sentence from it, if people actually read maybe an entire paragraph, it shows that we don't know if it's Russian.
It affected anything?
I don't know if it affected anything.
But
we
you were
don't
trying
analyze American political environments.
You were trying to.
What we were trying to do is point out that this has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information campaign. Not to say it's Russian disinformation, but to say that the propagation through American media and international media has all the classic earmarks of a Russian information campaign, because we've seen it over and over and over again. They love to sow these kind of divisions and exacerbate them. That's not American, that's Russian.
You are the person who silenced a whole conversation. You and 50 other so-called intelligence experts who are not intelligent and don't have any expertise, they all signed onto a letter and they sent that over to all the media, and it was an excuse for the media to publish that everywhere they turned so that they had some cover on the election. And Joe Biden took the cover and ran. And this guy got called out on it, and he's totally dead wrong about it, and he's going to double down. That's who's in the CIA. That's the integrity of the people who are in charge. Oh, no, it was fine. It looked like Russian, and can't even say, okay, yeah, we made a mistake on it. Look, there were some serious similarities. We were wrong, got it wrong. None of that. Not even a bit of error. And they're still running stuff. They're still in power. So we can see how this will go.